Our good friend of the channel, John Walker, has made a series of requests in recent days, and this is the final one of his latest installment. Now, this show was a big hit amongst the critics in Canada and at the Emmys. It didn't have a direct tie-in with the series, but a lot of the people are involved with the movie series were involved in this. It's Friday the 13th series, now syndicated for 3 years. This fantasy horror TV series ran for 3 campaigns from October 3rd, 87 to May 26, 1990 in first run syndication. It was a top 5 draw in syndication North America during its run. The series follows Mickey and Ryan, cousins who inherit an antique store, and after selling all the antiques, he learned from Jack Marshak that the items are cursed. The trio then worked together to recover the objects and return to the safety of the shop's vault. Now, most of the episodes were self-contained, or some what they call flowing episodes, but it was very underrated. This came before the Canadian, what they call sci-fi and horror explosion of the 1990s. Now, originally the series was entitled The 13th Hour, but producer Frank Mancuso Jr. thought it was to turn away viewers and instead took the name Friday the 13th, the series, to deliberately draw in audiences. Despite this title, the series has no story connections to the film series of the same title, as Jason Voorhees does not make an appearance, nor does any character connected to the films. The series and the films have several cast and crew ties, however. The show's producer, Frank Mancuso Jr., was producer of the film series from Friday the 13th Part 2 until the final installment distributed by Paramount, Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, in 1989, a year before the TV series ended. One of the show's stars, John D. LeMay, went on to star in Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, and guest star John Shepard played Tommy Jarvis in Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, and episode director David Cronenberg appeared in Jason X. Fred Mullen, Rob Hedden, and Tom McLaughlin worked behind the scenes of both series. Now, in this plot development that leads throughout the series, an antique dealer named Louis Vendredi, played by R.G. Armstrong, of course, Vendredi means Friday in French, has made a deal with the devil to sell cursed antiques out of his shop. Vendredi's antiques in exchange for wealth, power, magic powers, and immortality. In the show's first episode, The Inheritance, a very strong pilot, tired of being merely obedient puppet for the devil, Louis rebels against the devil and breaks the deal, thus being killed and having his soul claimed by the devil for it. Never do a deal with the devil. Now, after Louis's death, the shop is inherited by his niece, Mickey Foster, played by Louis Roby, credited without her first name as Roby, and her cousin by marriage, Ryan Dallion, played by John D. LeMay. They decide not to keep the store and sell off many of the cursed antiques before being stopped by Jack Marshak, played by Chris Wiggins. Jack was Louis's friend, a retired world traveler and occultist who originally collected many antiques for Vendredi before they became cursed. Now, the series follows the protagonists as they hunt down the cursed antiques, which are usually in the possession of people who have discovered their magic powers and are unwilling to give them up. In some cases, the object is in possession of the one who originally discovers his magic power. Now, while another person has learned of the object's power and obtained it before the object is recovered. Since the cursed antiques are completely indestructible, they must be locked away in a vault beneath Curious Goods, the rechristened antique store that is designed to magically render the objects inert. A manifest written by Louis holds the records of all the cursed objects sold by him. Now, most of the stories deal with people using the cursed object's magic for personal gain or revenge. Now, this is why the series really hit home with a lot of people. In syndication at the time, Star Trek The Next Generation was quite hot. But Friday the 13th, the series was basically what you called from the 9 to 2 o'clock in the morning slot. It would show up at all different places. And because it was Canadian, it was considered a CanCon. So Canadian networks would pick it up as part of their mandate to show Canadian programming. There wasn't a bit of Canadian aspect in the movie besides the fact there were some guest actors who were Canadian, or basically people were representative as tropes of the Canadian motif. Now, production companies including Lexicon Productions, Triumph Entertainment Corporation, Variety Artists, International Hometown Films, and of course Paramount Domestic Television. Now, there was some talk about a fourth season, but it never played out. Now, it was nominated for numerous Emmys and Geminis and was well respected by its many fans internationally, but it was considered an underrated show. Now, according to published reports, there was some caution by certain channels to show it before 11 o'clock because maybe they thought it had to be edited. Now, uh, again, the success of the series, to name it Friday the 13th over the original title, again, was made because Mancuso believed that the Friday the 13th moniker would be better. Now, filming took place in Toronto and would first run the syndication, again, initially in a late night spot. And the success of the series as a late night show prompted some broadcasting stations to move it to prime time or 11 o'clock. Now, produced on a budget estimated below $500,000 per episode, the first season placed second in the male 18 to 49 demographic, just behind Paramount Star Trek The Next Generation. In addition, the first season placed fifth in the female 18 to 49 demographic. Now, the first two seasons had 26 episodes apiece. However, the third season was cut short due to the abrupt decision to cancel the show. The cast and crew were informed about the ending of the series while they were filming the 20th episode of the third season, which ended up being the series finale. The cancellation was so sudden they were unable to film more episodes or more scenes that would provide some kind of closure. Now, the series was broadcast on Tele5 in Spain in 1991. In Greece, it was broadcast as The Mystery of Friday, and in Germany as The Heirs to the Curse. It also broadcast in Indonesia at TVR1 from 90 to 91 every Thursday night, and on RCTI from 92 to 96 every Friday. In Finland, the series was known as Ghosts and Ghoulies and broadcast by MTV3. Now, all three seasons have been issued in DVD in the States on CBS Paramount Motif, and the first season has also been issued as a Spanish bootleg DVD set. Now, it was nominated for 2 Emmys in 1988 and 1989 for visual and graphic effects, which are quite good. The series also won 2 silver plaques in Chicago for the episode Scarlet Cinema and the Sweetest Thing. In 1990, the series was nominated by the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films as Best Series. The series was also nominated 12 times for writing, editing, directing, production design, acting, sound, and music by the Gemini Awards in Canada. Now, there is a rumor that the last episode was to unite the movie and TV franchises by having the final item recovered to be the hockey mask belonging to Jason. This remains unfounded, and while there was talk about having a hockey mask or one of the sets as an in-joke, there was never any serious intention to mix the film series into a television series. Now, the series about a group of individuals rooting out supernatural occurrences created a mold which was later a series fit into Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, and X-Files. Now, the show, again, has been mimicked in different ways in big screen movies and TV series, but I think this ranks as probably one of the hidden gems of the era because a lot of people like this type of intellectual creeping terror, sort of like CSI horror or whatever. And it's a great concept because we know into the series every week it's chasing down the item. And as you know, most antique shops have tons of antiques. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing, especially John's requests for different podcasts, let us know for the like, comment, subscribe, or share. Don't know who's showing Friday the 13th series in a modern day because that's 33 years ago. So I don't know if Paramount is showing it in repeats or whatever. You could probably find it someplace on some Canadian-dominated streaming services or even on YouTube. So if you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, subscribe, or share. We are getting close to 2,000 subscribers and 1 million hits. Thank you to everybody. When we started this channel years ago, we never thought we hit this level. And without your great support, we couldn't have reached that milestone. It belongs to you because you are the guys who are supporting the channel. And thank you so much. Have a nice one. Bye.